Hello, everybody. This is Young Living Diamond Sarah Harnish. I'm the author of Gameplan, and I'm the author of Unstuck, and I'm the author of the Unstuck or Gameplan script book, which is going out for pre-release tomorrow, and I'm super excited about that. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. I am sorry that I have not been on sooner. We had a hurricane come through a few hours ago. We're fine. We're totally okay. But oh my word, the internet issues and the lines down and our house without power and all sorts of things. So we just had a lot going on. So I apologize. I have been trying to get on to you for a very long time. This is our 5th attempt at rebooting and hopping on different formats and all that. So I'm old school style right now. Like this is how I did the original Gameplan Bootcamp like 4 years ago. So forgive me if the technology is down, is not as good as it normally is, because we're just doing the best we can to just get the content to you. I've been in meetings all day today about the next book. So many of you guys have been asking me what this thing is. Why is there 2 of them? What is going on? Basically, there's a need to fill. So 4 years ago, John and I were platinums in Young Living. We're getting really close to diamond. And I realized when I was trying to train my team that if I wanted to train them, I had to go grab 10 or 12 books because all the training was in different books. And so that's how this book got birthed, Gameplan. And there was a need for it because, I mean, it sold millions of copies, right? So people needed to have everything in one place, to have it simple and easy to find. Since I released that book, I've had the idea of doing the same thing for aromatherapy. What if you could have somebody join your team and you just handed them a book? And now, instead of trying to read through all the science and understand aroma chemistry and know what D-limonene is and all of that, you could just hand them a book and say, this is a thieves class. This is an oils class. This is a neuroauricular technique class. This is a raindrop class. And you had a dozen or more scripts in one book, and they read through it like a novel. And at the end of each chapter, we gave them ideas for central awards based on that class, right? And had everything written out. So wouldn't it be nice to have all that in one place? Like to have a script for raindrop that you can just hand to a brand new oiler, to have a script for massage, to have a script that explains all the different diffusers. Like, wouldn't that be awesome to have that all in one spot and not have to go to 10 or 12 different books to be able to find all the things, right? So that's been a labor of love for me for the last, 6 years. If I'm shooting straight with you, it's been 6 years that I've been working on this, because you could technically count it from the very first very first thing that I did, which was writing the 101 script. So with that said, let me just show you what this looks like. It's called the Gameplan script book, and this is the cover of it. 25 classes, 2 bonus scripts. And why is it a bonus script? Why isn't it like mixed in with the other ones? Because I wanted to do some hardcore training on lifestyle with your product users. And guys, 92% of product users are never, ever going to sell oils as a business. That's just statistically what it is. They're not going to sell, okay? So the goal is not to get them to sell. The goal is for them to be able to get their product for free, right? Any ideas on cost? That's the meeting I just got out of. We are trying so hard. With the pandemic, like the cost of shipping is higher, the cost of printing is significantly higher than when I printed Gameplan, and I'm doing everything in my power to try to bulk buy. We're trying to decide if we want to print in color, because I'm trying to get the cost lower for you guys so that you can order 5 of them and send them to people that you sign up or new people that are on your team, and it's not a huge burden to you. The number one thing that I look for when I'm putting a book together is content. Is that you have the best content on the earth, and it's heavily researched. That's what I do for my job, is research. And then the second thing is price. Like, I'm always looking at the cost. So what can I do to keep the cost down for you? I want it in color, but it could double the cost for you. So if it means that people don't get the content, I've taken it on the chin a lot for printing Fearless in black and white and printing the mini in black and white. And they said, well, you can make the book so pretty. I can, but if you got to spend $20 a person to be able to send it to them, then you're not going to send it to them because it's too expensive, right? So script card decks. I keep getting asked about script card decks. I could do one project at a time right now, and this is the project at the moment. How about a download for the binder version that we can print ourselves? We've looked into that. The problem is that once I sign it over to Amazon so that our international people have access to it, then I don't own the rights to the book. So if I'm putting downloads on my page, then I'm violating my contract with Amazon. So it gets really hairy. And that's why you don't see me on a whole bunch of other sites too. There's a lot of other places that will host the book. But if I give the rights to Amazon so that our teams in Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Australia, without me having printing houses everywhere all over the world, then I lose some of my rights as an author to be able to put it in other places that are easier for you guys. So we are thinking of all the things and trying to make it as easy as we can for you. But my goal is that you can hand it to a brand new person and they will read it. And it's written for product users. Like, it's written as a novel that they can just kind of get educated on all these different topics in one place. But I am going to have a tease of Silver Bound in the back, and I'm going to have a little tease of the business and just say, listen, maybe business isn't your jam. It's not mine either. It's just education and empowering women. You know, they're at a fork in the road and deciding, you know, what they want to do, and how they want to take care of their families, and so maybe the most you do with this is just to get your product for free so that your whole family can drink Ningxia and you can have all the oils on your shelves at any moment that you need them. And maybe that's your goal. And if it is, here's what the bonuses look like, right? Because my goal is to help you even get that little team so that you don't have to pay for your stuff, right? What about an Audible version on Amazon? I'm about to start that. Yeah, we'll have Audible will go up, Kindle will go up. I'm working on all of this. But tomorrow we open pre-sales, which is just crazy. I cannot believe that this this project is actually coming to fruition. I'm very excited about it. A general price range, we just got printing prices today from them and could do it both color and black and white and let the customer decide. We could do that if you wanted to pay a little bit more to get a color book. The thing is that when we buy in bulk from the printers, we can lower the cost a lot for you. So if I have half of you guys ordering in color and half of you ordering in black and white, the price is going to be higher for everybody because they count one order for color and one order for black and white because they have to switch their printers over to do it. So it's not going to save us much if I'm not placing one big order for it. Anyway, that's all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Not that you guys, I know the sun will come out tomorrow, right? Yeah, this is what I've been doing all week, is trying to negotiate bulk pricing for you and cheaper pricing and all that. But yeah, I'm a black and white only. I've been a black and white only girl, but I really want to keep things affordable for you. I know everybody really wants it in color. So okay, one thing I will tell you is when we open pre-sales tomorrow, my printer is in San Antonio and I'm in South Carolina, but I wanted to do something special for all of our pre-sale people. So I am going to sign a bookmark, thousands of them, actually, probably thousands, and send them to my printer. So every time he prints a book, he can put a bookmark in it and you'll get something signed as if you were sitting in a book signing line, and you'll have it for you. So whatever it is, it'll be worth $1 million. I love you guys. Hey, pray that we're able to get it to fit in the space, because I'm thinking a 300 or 350 page script book. I mean, Unstuck's 450. I'm thinking about that range, and we put 4 scripts in today and it was already 40 pages and we have 25 scripts. So yeah. Anyway, so that is the Game Plan script book. I'll give you one more peek at it here. Game Plan Oil Script Book, 25 classes, 2 bonus scripts. The reason I have the bonus, these aren't oil scripts, these are lifestyle scripts. So I wanted to train on what to do when your kids get a cold and a flu. What to do, what are some things I do just for overall wellness, overall health, just to keep my immune system strong. You know, this is a lifestyle training book. My goal is that your product users will pick this up and they start getting the vision of what an oils lifestyle looks like. That it's not just getting the starter kit. It's not just ordering 2 bottles of Ningxia a month or every 6 months getting a little container of Thieves Cleaner, but they're truly all in with it and understand what that looks like. When you step into an oils lifestyle, what that looks like. What time did they go on sale? That depends how quickly we can get the buttons up and live. So watch the page all day tomorrow, all right? You'll be purchasing from my website. We're still in the process of getting everything approved from Amazon. So Amazon will be like a month or 2 after. And honestly, we're waiting on them. It's not on us. It's on their side. So we'll keep you in the know when it goes live on Amazon too. All right? Okay, now let's jump into boot camp. I just had to show you guys that because this is pretty special. You know, it's something that your business builders are going to be able to duplicate and teach like a mad dog. They're not just teaching oils classes, they're teaching all the classes for lifestyle. It's going to be easy for you to duplicate, do challenges and run things on your team because there's challenge calendars. You can do an emotional oils, emotional release challenge for your team for 30 days. You can do a weight loss challenge for your team for 30 days with Sleek. You can do, you know, I mean, there's so many different challenges that you'll be able to do with these calendars and stuff in the back. So there's a lot of different ways to use the book. You teaching, getting on and teaching to your team and empowering them. 25 classes. If you taught a class a month on your product page, you would have 2 years of content. You know, and that doesn't include any of the challenge calendars. So it'll keep you guys busy for a little bit. So I'm very excited because it's written for product users, but very usable for business builders and very duplicatable. The goal is to get our zeros on Essential Rewards and to get our people that are on Essential Rewards understanding and living the lifestyle. That's the purpose of this entire project. So I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but I made a list of the 25 scripts so that you guys know what is going to be in the book. And obviously we've got the core 5. So you got oils, thieves, Ningxia, CBD, and the kids class. Then after that, there's an entire aromatherapy class on why oiling. That's fearless. Then my Oils of the Bible class, we had 50,000 of you guys on that class. And so Oils of the Bible will be in there in full print. The Raindrop class, never ever released my Raindrop class before. This is the one I've been teaching for the last 6 years to my team. And it starts out with a full hour of the science of raindrops. So you understand the order of the oils and why Gary has them the way that he does. It's pretty cool. The Feelings Kit, a gut health class, which lays the stage for the supplements and understanding the supplements. Then the 4 most important supplements, and I'll give you 3 bonus ones too. So we actually study 7 supplements in that class. A whole class just on enzymes. Then we have a face class, so Savvy Minerals in Bloom. And then a hair class and a tooth class on tooth care. And then hormones, and then animal aromatherapy. I've got a basic massage for couples class, so it trains you in the different massage oils that we have, and then how to do some very, very simple massage if you have no massage training at all. Diffusers 101, so we go through all the different diffusers that Young Living has and which ones are good for big rooms and little rooms and why their design is the way that they are. And of course, we're gonna have a whole bunch of diffuser recipes, and I'm putting a bunch of vanilla recipes in there for you guys too. The seedlings class, that's all on babies. You may not know this about me, but I'm a doula. And so I go in the delivery room. I'm an aromatherapy doula, and I help women deliver their babies. And so I'm going to incorporate some of my doula training into that seedlings class as well. There's a little labor and delivery section. And then Manly Man class, neuroauricular techniques. So there's a class just with 3 techniques in it. Neuroauricular ear technique, and then the balancing technique. If you're just dropping your keys and dropping your groceries and all that, that's a great thing to know. A whole blending class. Maybe you don't understand very much about aromachemisry and know how to make your own roll-ons. You just kind of throw everything in and let it and smell it, you know, but we're going to do some very simple basic blends. An einkorn class, you guys have been asking me to teach food. And so I'm going to do just 1 food class in here, and then an honoring Gary class. And it's just from my perspective. It's not anything through corporate or anything, but just what I learned about Gary Young from traveling with him, because I realized most of the people signing your teams now, they never had a chance to meet him. So what kind of a legacy can we leave for him? And then there's bonus classes and protocols, a cleansing protocol, weight loss, emotional release on yourself, energy and stress, what clean living looks like. And I'm going to give all of the things that I do to keep myself healthy, and just what my overall lifestyle looks like. And I'll talk to you guys about red light therapy and, you know, colon hydrotherapy and some of the things that John and I do, just to keep ourselves, you know, strong, to keep our bodies strong. There's a vitality capsule protocol that's really fun, 25 vanilla roll-on recipes, and a fitness class, and then keeping God at the center of your business. So the book is packed. Yeah, it's absolutely packed. Matter of fact, I wrote my publisher today, and he's like, why don't you do this in 2 books? Like, could you do this in 2 books? I'm like, oh, no, I want to do this in 1 because I've written 75 scripts, and this is only 25 of them. You guys don't even have... Where did I take my aromatherapy classes? I've been all over. The first school that I went to actually shut down. It was in Canada, and there was one woman that led it forever, and she passed away. So it was probably about 2 years after I had finished. So that school's not even open anymore. Care School, I highly recommend. Jen O'Sullivan recommended a French clinical school that looked pretty cool. But I would recommend you guys go build your businesses, because honestly, it wasn't the certifications that built my business. It's not the credentials. Because if you think about that, what's your greatest tool in your business? Volume 1 of 3. Oh, you want me to write 3 of them, Tammy? I know, right? It's what's the greatest tool in your business? It's not you being an expert, right? Matter of fact, that's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt because all your leaders think they have to go spend a year and go through all these aromatherapy schools, right? It's going to hurt you. No, the best tool you have for your business is duplication, right? It's raising leaders. And leaders get raised when they realize they don't have to be experts. So if you guys go out and you're getting all this knowledge and wisdom, it is the opposite of what you need to find leaders and attract them to your team and grow business builders. So the best thing that you can do is, it sounds awful, but stay stupid. Right? Just be, I'm a mom. I don't know. I'm not sure. But here's what. Is it better to layer than to blend? Yes. Yeah, I would recommend layering because the body gets to assimilate each oil by itself. You give it 30 to 60 seconds and then you put the next oil on. When you put a lot of oils in a blend, it's kind of like putting a whole bunch of people in the room and they can't move their arms, right? You're mucking up the oil and the molecules are real close together. So Gary was master at it. He was masterful, but it's because he understood aromachemisy. So he's stepping back and he's looking at the puzzle pieces of the constituents and how they fit together. And it's not just having an understanding of top, middle, and base notes, but actually looking at the entire puzzle. And that's how he could create amazing blends like Valor and Pan Away and Stress Away. You think about the work that went Thieves. I mean, gosh, Thieves is what put Young Living on the map. You know, you think about the work that he put in putting those together. I'm not going to train you on that level. All right, you do not want me teaching you aromachemisy, I promise you. It took me a whole lot of Ningxia Nitro Mind-wise to get through my aromachemisy classes. So you don't want me showing you that, but I'm going to give you some basic blending techniques that'll just make it easier for a mom grabbing a roll-on, putting a couple oils in a roll-on, right? Just some basic, simple things. Same thing with the diffuser class and with the massage class. It's meant to just give you a couple of techniques so that you can sit down and do some amazing things. So I'm very excited about this book. Tomorrow's pre-sales, all right? We don't even have it up on Amazon yet. I haven't even recorded the Audible version yet. So it's pre-sales. And we'll keep you in the know throughout the whole process. Okay. So tell your business builders to start the video at this time. I'm really sorry I talked so long about that. I'm just so excited about this book. And I really think it's going to be mind-blowing for your product users because they don't even know the stuff that they can use oils for. And the neat thing is we keep the whole thing totally compliant. Because, I mean, if you think about it, guys, I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. When we're using reference guides, we're trying to diagnose and treat. I mean, really, truly, that's what we're doing. But if you step back and you look at how you learned oils, did you learn oils by diagnosing things? You're not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. Did you learn that way? I didn't learn that way. I learned from one friend saying, oh, yeah, I did X, Y, Z. Why don't you try this? And then I went and I tried it and I was like, dude, that's crazy. I was dropping my keys on the floor for 2 days. If I just take some Valor and put it in my hands and put it on my shoulders, I don't drop my keys on the floor, like that's awesome. All right. So, it was mostly word of mouth, passing things along, sharing stories, personal testimonies. That's how I learned most of what I learned in oiling. I mean, even with all the certifications and stuff that I have that I don't recommend you do, that was mostly genus, species. Yeah, it really was trial and error. It wasn't diagnosis. That's not the way people learn oils. So, and I was asking my husband tonight, I'm like, am I the only person that sat down with the reference guide and the catalog and read the 500-page reference guide cover to cover in a day and then looked up at all the oils and wrote chicken notes next to it? And he looked at me, he's like, you're the only one. I said, we have a team of almost 10,000 people. Did anybody else on my team do it? He's like, Sarah, people don't read encyclopedias. Like, they just don't. And that's when I really got a piece about putting this book together, because this is the way we study. Okay, this is the way we learn. We don't learn by going to medical school. We're not, we don't have any of that background. I don't have that background. I can't teach you from that place. Yeah, we all respond differently. So this is a very natural, authentic way of learning oils from a person that it's the order that I learned it in, right? And it was from the people in front of me mentoring me and things that I read, just passing that stuff along to you. But now instead of it being everywhere, it's in one place, just like your business book is in one place. So let's talk about that business book for a little bit. I was going to rewrite the reference book before I got it. Yeah. I hope I can make some things easy to understand. That's what I've done in the newsroom for 23 years. So in a week or so here, we got to figure out this whole election and make that easy to understand. All right, if you can go through an election cycle and make it easy for people to understand, you can make aromatherapy easy to understand. That's all I got to say. But 23 years in the newsroom, reading newspapers and compiling information and writing 120 stories every morning and cutting up 200 sound bites, you get really good at looking over the pool of information and making it easy on the ear and easy to understand. So I love the scientific explanations, but sometimes, most of us don't have that background in science to understand it. So yeah, I read the product guide. Good. Rachel, you and me are the only people that did it. That's the way I learned fast. Yeah. Our country does need oil. Amen. All right. So game plan. Complete strategy guide to go from starter kit to silver. And the reason I say complete is because it's everything in one place, right? You're learning a little bit about the comp plan. You're learning a little bit about where to place people. You're learning a little bit about ranking up. You're learning a little bit about how to deal when people tell you no. We're not used to having 3 and 4 people tell us no. So how do you process that feeling? How do you get over the emotions of doing a network marketing business? So it's all of that. Will you sell these 2 books singly or in bulk? We're trying to figure that out right now. I have until tomorrow to figure it out. So yeah, I need to get on that. Keep it simple. Yeah. The script book is going to read like a book. It's going to read like a novel. And you'll just go from script to script to script. And it'd be very easy to share and read, but also very easy to just pick up and read it as a book as well when they want to learn a new topic. And it's the same thing with Game Plan. It's easy to read because it's all the business things in one spot. So our oil of the night for tonight, all right, now this is where you actually want to have them start the bootcamp video. Sorry, guys, is believe. There you go. I believe we will have pre-sales up for the Game Plan script book tomorrow. I believe in my heart this is all going to work out. I believe it. And Amazon's coming. We're just faster on the website this time than we are on Amazon. So oil of the night is Believe. And this is actually the oil that I have been wearing since we started our hustle for Crown Diamond. We are so close. I told John we were going to release the script book this week. And he's like, what are you doing? We're like this close to hitting Crown Diamond. Like, why? Don't do a book right now. Like, go hit Crown. What are you doing? I told my daughter, she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, God told me to do it. Please don't throw things at me. He said, do it. So I thought it'd be an encouragement to you guys. So we're doing it, right? So Believe I have been wearing, no, there's only, okay, everybody's asking me about this. Yes, so Game Plan is your business book. There will be 2 versions of the script book out, 2 different versions. The content is inside is identical. It's exactly the same, okay? This is what the cover looks like. One of them is for teachers, and all we did is we're shipping it with a binder. You're going to assemble it, and it's got dividers so that if you want to teach a CBD class, you can flip right to that class. Okay, it's going to lay flat. The print's a little bit bigger for you, and it's designed for teaching. But the content inside is exactly the same. There's no difference at all on what's inside. Okay, and then there's going to be a book that looks like Game Plan that's bound with a binding, just like this book, and that one's for your product users. All right. So yes, you will see 2 books when we launch it tomorrow, but the content is exactly the same. Don't feel like you need to buy both books. You don't need to buy both books, okay? Unless you're planning on teaching and you're giving some to your product users, then yes. All right, I want both. We'll have a bundle with both of them, and we'll do discounts and all that other good stuff. So let's talk a little bit about Believe Oil. When I look it up, it kind of wigged me out because the descriptions in there were, unlock your own infinite potential. I'm like, I have infinite potential. I'm like, as a Christian, I believe that I have the power of Christ in me and that he's amazing and that the good things that I have are because I have him inside of me. So that language kind of messes with me on my own unlimited potential. I mean, if it is unlimited, it's because of God, right? That's inside of me. But here's something that I can agree with. Here's some of the stuff that I learned about Believe that I think is pretty interesting. The oil helps us in supporting, in knowing that we can change our situation. We've been dealing with this topic the entire week because I think some of you guys really don't see yourself as a diamond. You don't see yourself as a crown diamond or as a royal crown diamond. Yeah, Tammy says this confuses me sometimes too. Exactly. And so, Holy Spirit has the last word. It's true. It's true. So here's what I think. Sometimes we get stuck in our own head and we forget how powerful God is and what he can do. And it's okay to vision cast, and it's okay to have desires of your heart because I believe he planted those in you, and you're supposed to pursue that stuff so that you're pursuing the desires that he has for you. You're crossing paths with people that he wants you to cross paths with because you're not staying in your comfort zone and you're getting a little stretched, right? Jesus didn't stay with his dad building houses and doing carpentry work after he was 30 years old. Like, he went out, he talked to people. I mean, think about that. The dude is literally like the ultimate homeschooler. I mean, he was with his dad from like 12 to 30. doing carpentry work. And then he went out and starts talking to crowds of 5,000. That absolutely could not have been comfortable for him at all. And so I don't think we're supposed to be staying where we're comfortable. I think we're supposed to be moving out of that place. And this oil really helps us to process some of those thoughts and some of those emotions. All right. So when I hear unlock your own infinite potential, I'm like, okay, how about this? It supports me in knowing that I can change where I'm at, so that I'm thinking forward and I'm not just saying where I'm comfortable, like who writes the oil descriptions. I know I would write these descriptions a little differently. So here's the thing though, if we believe that we can, and that's true, I mean, that's legit. You have to believe that something is possible or you don't pursue it. Like, are you guys teaching a class a week because you really believe that diamond is possible for you? I'm not saying it's instant, and I'm not saying it's going to happen next month, but do you really think that it's, possible for you? Charlotte wants to know more about animal aromatherapy. I'm not going to do that in a boot camp, in the middle of a boot camp, but we can definitely do that on a roundtable night, all right? Yeah. Okay. So other things about believe. It helps to release the emotions of despair and inadequacy that are stored in the lungs. All right. So this whole storing of things really messed with my head. For a long time, I had a big issue with energy fields, storing of stuff. I'm like, no, an emotion is a thought. You think it, and then it's gone, right? Wrong. And we know this. There's solid science on this. I mean, really solid science. You can get out there and you can go look some of this stuff up. Basically, when you have an emotion, your body responds to it in a physical way. So, for example, I was almost in a car crash, and I went off into a ditch, and my kids were in the car. And I left the scene of the site because I didn't hit the guy and he didn't hit me, and our cars were okay. And I got on the highway and started driving, and my heart rate was really high because I was thinking through what could have happened if my kids had been in that crash. So I had a physical response, my heart rate being high, to something emotionally that was traumatic for me, right? So we know that there's an emotional response. So what do you think happens to that? What do you think happens to the hormones? What do you think happens to that surge of adrenaline, the fight or flight? I mean, your body's producing extra things, the imprint of that memory. Where do you think that stuff goes? Well, the science says that it gets stored in your cell tissue. And so saying that something's getting stored in the lungs, when you first read that, you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. So I have a memory and then it's in my lung. Like, how does that happen, right? But if you know that this kind of physical response and the hormones and things that get released in your body, when you have a strong emotion like that gets stored, then they have to get stored somewhere. Yeah, Jenna, you're going to love the script book because this really explains in depth some of these concepts, right? And so what this oil does is it helps to release some emotions of despair, that stuff that we're holding on to in our cell tissue, despair and inadequacy that we're feeling about ourselves. It brings some stability to your emotions, and it helps to restore hope and desire. Sometimes that's things that we forget that God can do, right? He's the God that can do anything. So we don't need to be worried about this kind of stuff because he's capable of all of it. It helps with feelings of strength. Sometimes you just feel like you can't go anymore. You're tired, you're exhausted. And it knocks back emotional setbacks and barriers that are holding you down in your mind. So if you have forgotten how to hope, believe is a really, really good oil for that. If you built up some pretty thick walls, belief is a really good oil for that. Are you able to walk toward your dreams, or are you crippled with doubt? Do you have feelings of not being enough? Okay, then this is a really good oil for that. I remember after I retired from radio, I still fill in, so I'll pop in over the summer. I think I worked like 8 weeks. It's so much, but now I'm back to like a day or two a month, that's about what I like to do because I like to be a present mom, and I'm running 2 multi-million-dollar businesses, so that takes a lot of time. But I remember after I came off radio, I was kind of wondering. I didn't really know what I was good at, what I could do. And I felt a sense of loss and not anchoring 52 weeks a year. So that's the only thing I'm good at, God. Why would you pull that away from me? I don't understand. Yeah, you can pair it with release and Sarah and inner child. It's going to be very powerful, very, very powerful. And so I was just kind of going like this. And, sometimes you just don't feel like you've earned the rank, or you don't feel like you are good enough or, a capable enough leader to have the next rank. And so this is a really good blend for that. That's when I started really bringing believe into it, because I noticed that I was limiting myself because I wouldn't move forward in the stuff that God had laid out for me, because I thought this is what I could do. And God's like, actually, I took you out of your job because this is what I want you to do. But you're so stuck down here that you can't even see what I have for you. So the oils in this blend: frankincense promotes relaxation, helps with stress. Balsam fir is a rejuvenating oil. It's amazing. Ylang ylang, good for balance. Bergamot is for sadness. It's really good sadness oil. The blend overall helps with boredom, helps with confidence, focus, potential, clear mind. I just drank an entire mason jar of Ningxia Nitro and Mindwise. And so you might hear me burping on this video. I'm so sorry. I'm trying not to. But it helps with an awareness that you're on pause. Do you guys know when you're on pause? You know, you're just kind of on autopilot. You're doing what you need to do to get through, but you're not really moving forward. That's one of the reasons why we did this boot camp, because I want you to see that you've got your life paused and it's time to move. It's time to go to the next thing. We've been on pause for too long, giving you visions of goals. It helps you to release emotions of dishonesty and despair and feeling like you're not enough, and gives inspiration, and it gets you to believe that you can be empowered. So really good for people that feel like giving up. You just feel like quitting. Man, I hope you don't quit. There's no mistakes and no reason, why God would not have brought you here, brought you guys to this boot camp, brought you to Gameplan, brought you to Young Living. There's no mistakes. God doesn't make any mistakes in that kind of stuff. So, don't give up. Just be satisfied with the pace that you have and move forward. All right, move forward. What I would say is put this oil over your heart. That's a good place. And on the back of the neck. You got a lot of nerves back there. That's a good place to put stuff. If you feel the back of your head, there's a bump, right? Almost exactly halfway through, you'll feel that bump. You feel just underneath it, right in the center, and there's a little divot, and it's a soft spot. And that's your medulla. And there is just huge bundles of nerves. Your vagus nerve is there, which goes everywhere in your body. That's where I would put some of these oils. Especially believe your emotional oils. That's a really good place. Yeah, Diali says a lot of times I'm on pause. Yep. All right, so we're doing chapter 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. So we have 6 chapters, and I'm literally going to do like a minute and a half on each one, because this is just a highlights of boot camp. And then I want you guys to go read the book, go do the workbook. That'll really give you a kick in the face. And then turn around and share these 5 videos with your team and empower them next week or the week after, beginning of November. Empower them to start watching some of this stuff and staying focused, and kicking some of those limiting beliefs in the face. So chapter 17 is a pretty simple, straightforward chapter. It's just talking about the comp plan. So how are you paid? I already went through the silver bound bonuses with you in one of the earlier videos this week, so I'm not going to go through that again, but very simple for your brand new business builders. There's 4 parts to your paycheck. The first part is starter kit bonuses. So every time you have a kit sale, you're going to get $50. And $50, or 25 of that is for the actual sale of the starter kit, and $25 of that is for Fast Start. The second thing in your paycheck is Fast Start. So everything they get after the kit, you get 25% of that for 3 months. So it's an incentive for you to get them on Essential Rewards quickly and not wait 6 months or 9 months or a year to get their attention, okay? The third thing is Unilevel. So after 3 months, they slip into the Unilevel system, and basically you get paid 8% on your level 1s, 5% on your level 2. So if you sign somebody directly under you, they're your level 1. If you sign somebody under that person, they're 2 levels under you. So you got your first person and you got your person underneath them. And then you get paid 4% on your level 3, 4s, and 5s. So the only structure mistake that you can really make is signing people too deep, because you don't get paid. Other than your generations bonuses, which comes after you hit the rank of silver, you don't really get paid on those people. So you want to keep people in your top 5 levels and building too wide, all right? Because why? I mean, you don't need volume in leg 32, right? You need volume in legs 1 and 2 so that you can get those silver bound bonuses, or legs 1, 2, and 3 so you can hit the rank of silver, right? So, and then the fourth thing is those bonuses. So if you structure your team a certain way, then you're eligible for bonuses if you do it in a certain time frame, and those are silver bound bonuses. Once you hit the rank of silver, then you have generation leadership bonuses, and those are pretty darn amazing as well. So those are the 4 parts of your checks. $50 for each starter kit, 25% of everything they get after they've ordered the starter kit. Unilevel is you're paid 8% on your level 1s, 5% on your level 2s, 4% on your level 3s, 4s, and 5s. So after Fast Start, they slip into the Unilevel system. And then silver-bound bonuses and generation leadership bonuses is the 4th part of your check. And that's basically getting paid because of how you structure or the pace that you hit things. And once you're silver, then you get generation bonuses, which means you're getting paid on your leaders. So chapter 18 is where to sign new Oilers. And we hit on this just a little bit. Can you touch on when does the sponsor get their commission and how much? So you're paid by the month. So say for this month, this is the month of October, all the work that I do in October, October 1st to October 31st, is going to be paid on my November 20th check. And then all my work in November, November 1st to November 30th, will be paid on my December 20th check. So that's the way that you get paid, and that's the way that our pay check structure looks like. So chapter 18 is where to sign new Oilers. And I told you already, there's only 2 mistakes that you can make with this: going too deep and going too wide. So remember the song from Bible Sunday School? Deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide, right? Don't want to go too deep. Don't want to go too wide. So I love Silverbound. When Silverbound came out, I about wet myself because it was exactly the way I trained you guys in Gameplan 3 years ago. Exactly. I told you, I'm like, okay, you can build 6 legs at the same time for rising star bonuses, which don't exist anymore, or you can build the way I built and I hit silver in 12 weeks. So like, this is what I recommend. If you're building all 6 legs at the same time, you don't have the volume in the 2 legs that you need to be able to hit the first rank, right? And so I feel really strongly that you should only look 2 ranks ahead when you're building. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to log into my virtual office here because it's just easier to train you that way. United States, English. No, I don't want to become a member. I have done that. All right. So let me just flip my camera around here, and I'm going to go to the rank qualification button. So if you are on rank qualification, we already talked about these are all the ranks in Young Living. So you have got star, senior star, executive, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, John and Honor diamonds. We're pushing for crown diamond, and then there's royal crown diamond. So we are the 3rd highest rank in Young Living. And there's 4 things that you have to do to get your paycheck to rank up. You got to spend 100 PV. That never changes. Now, whether you're star or you're royal crown diamond, it's always the same. You have to hit a certain volume every single month, and it resets on the 1st of the month. So stars volume's 500 every month, senior stars 2,000 every month. And when you're getting people on ER, you're not starting over from 0. So if you had a class a week and you ended the month at star with 10 people on essential awards, you're starting this month already halfway to senior star. So it seems hard, but it's not, because you're building bricks on top of bricks, right? Because I would look at doing $750,000 a month in sales as a crown diamond would be just crazy, but it's not me. It's the power of the team that's invested in the product education and the training over the last 6 years that's built us, we're not crowns yet, but building us to that place. And then the 3rd part of your paycheck is legs. So a leg is a person in a team. So for executive, you need 2 legs, 2 teams doing 1,000 each. Silver, you need 2 legs doing 4,000 each. And the structure is slightly different for these first couple ranks if you're running for the bonuses, for the silver bound bonuses, which I already trained you guys on. And then you have to have volume outside of your legs. So once you hit the rank of silver, you have to spend 1,000, have 1,000 PGV outside of your legs. So what I would tell you is, while you're building, just look 2 ranks ahead. So if you were star and you're building your business, 2 ranks ahead would be senior star, executive. So an executive has to have 2 legs at 1,000 OGV each. So you need 2 legs going. Now, if you're building for silverbound, you want that 3rd one started. If you're senior star and you look 2 ranks ahead, that's silver, so 2 legs needed. Again, for silver bound bonuses, you need a little in the 3rd. For, executive, if you're the rank of executive and you look 2 ranks ahead, now you have a gold. Gold has 3 legs that they're building. So that's when I would start that next leg, okay? The exception to this is if you're building for silver bound, you need the legs just a little bit sooner. Yep, 1,000 outside the 2 legs is PGV, and that doesn't kick in until the rank of silver. Now I got you guys all singing deep and wide. That's hilarious. So what I would say is, who said there's no time? Classes, girlfriend. How do you get your OGV up? You teach. You teach classes every single week. That's how you get your OGV to grow. If you're not teaching and you're not sharing oils, you will not see growth in Young Living. You have to be connecting with people and building relationships. So do you guys understand a little bit about how to build? When I'm a star, I'm not building all my legs for Royal Crown Diamond. I'm building my legs for executive. I'm looking 2 ranks ahead. All right. I'm not sure what all that means with OGV. Is that how much people are spending? Yes. So OGV is your purchase and the purchase of everybody underneath you, okay? So that's what OGV is. The only 2 vocabulary words that you need to know to be able to start your business are leg and OGV. You could argue PV too, because that's what you're spending, but OGV and leg. Leg is a person and a team. OGV is your purchase and the purchase of everybody underneath you. So that's, you know that terminology. You can hop in the VO and you know it. Do these need to be in-person classes, or have online classes been working well for people? Honestly, Nicole, I've been doing everything online. Since the pandemic started, I've been doing it all. I believe very deeply in classes and the class model, and I believe, because it's how we hit Diamond. 288 classes, and John and I had Diamond. But I've been teaching classes on Zoom. What I don't get traction with is putting one post on Instagram and expecting 10 people to buy a kit, or putting an event up on Facebook and expecting my 19,000 friends to jump into the event and have 100 kit sales. Okay, I mean, that's not how this works. It works with building a relationship, and whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it is sending texts back and forth, or however you're connecting with the people around you, funneling them to product education and doing training with them. Okay. So have you noticed one day or a time of day that's more successful for class attendance? It just depends on the people you're hanging out with. Like in my circles, I'm hanging out with a lot of homeschoolers. So if I'm doing classes at 10 o'clock in the morning, they're probably homeschooling their kids. So for me personally, I have a lot more people get on at 6, 7 o'clock at night than I do at 10 o'clock in the morning. But maybe you're in the 50 plus crowd and your kids are gone. You're an empty nester, and you've been an empty nester for 5+ years, and you're hanging around with a bunch of women that are in their 40s and 50s and have no kids. And maybe getting together while your husbands are at work at noon over lunch works really well for you. So you've got to look at your circles of people and what they respond to. And if you're not getting a good response, during the day or in the evening, then switch it up. Do a Saturday morning, do a Friday night. But the big thing I found is building those relationships. That's way more important than any post you put out on social media. I'm not saying social media is not a viable way of building, because it is. It absolutely is. As a matter of fact, I wrote a whole chapter on building with social media and building with Instagram and Unstuck. So if that's something you want to learn a bit about, I invited some diamonds that were successful at that. I know that I don't know everything. I'm good at compiling information. That's my gift. So when I don't know something, I find somebody who does, compile it, and put it in a book for you. So there's a chapter on that in Unstuck if you want to learn a little bit more about it. It's not the way that I built, but I recognize that there are diamonds that have built that way. So I'm not dumb enough to tell you that it's impossible. What I will tell you is corporate said that 70% of people build with in-person classes. So when they look out over all, almost 500 diamonds, 70% of those 500 built with classes in one way, shape, or form. So either getting on a Zoom call and reading the script, or sitting on a couch and sharing with a woman across from them, or sitting in a coffee house for an hour over lunch break and pouring out their heart, or sharing the product catalog. Whatever that looked like, they connected with another human being. And 30% did it all the other way. So make intakes, speed oiling classes, personal, impersonal loan, Vimeo, Instagram, all those other ways, vendor events. 30% of the diamonds built all those ways combined, and 70% built with connecting and relationships, and then teaching in some form. Okay, so whatever that looks like for you, there's a million ideas on the types of classes to do in Unstuck. I did over 8,000 interviews to put that book together. So it's a very powerful book if you need some ideas on how to teach, because you're really confused. I can tell you, for me, I build a relationship. I set up a time and say, hey girl, all right, I'll give you an example. There was a ref just about a month ago at my son's football game. We had 104-degree heat here, and the guy dropped from heat exhaustion. So he went and he was sitting underneath a tent, and he was drinking water for half an hour, and he was fully hydrated, but he was still just kind of sitting on the ground. And I've been talking with his mom about how much I love using Ningxia when I run. It's just one of my favorite products for running. And she said, why? And I said, I don't know. I just feel like I have a little bit more energy. I feel good. I said, I'm going to go offer it to that ref, because the guy has just been sitting on the ground, and I feel bad for him. He needs some energy too. So I walked up to him and I gave him the Ningxia, and he drank it. And within 30 seconds. He was standing up, he went right back out into the field, and he was doing all of his ref things. And so she turned to me, she's like, what is that stuff? I said, it's antioxidants and it's awesome. And she said, I need that. And I said, hey, I teach classes on this. Like, I'll teach you a class. So I got her contact information. I literally just met this lady in the field, got her contact information, set up a Zoom call. I came home, she went home, we got on Zoom, and I read the 103 PowerPoint to her, the same one you guys have. I downloaded the same one, and I just read the slides and told her about Ningxia. So, I mean, that's an example of how I'm teaching. I'm mostly funneling people to Zoom classes. I get them online. I get 3 or 4 people that I've been connecting with, and then I teach a class in there. All right. So how do we make people realize that they need it? You share your story, Cassie. You share your heart and you tell them, listen, like, this is what works for me. This is my personal story, and this is why you should use oils. And then you listen to their needs, and you listen for when they have a need that's related to oils, and then you offer them the oils. Your job as a business builder is to get them to their wow moment, because once they have a wow moment, they will see the value of the other 300 oils, and their interest will be spiked, and they'll be ready for product education. Now they're ready for a game plan script book. Now they're ready for the core 5, right? But you have to communicate the need for one ingredient oils first and get them to that wow moment. That's your task. That's your task. So you're basically the need meter, all right? You're not a salesperson. You're not a marketer. You're a need meter. You step back and you say, listen, I think that I can make a difference in your life. I think I can make your life a little better if I don't sit here quietly, not telling you about the stuff that I know that is awesome for me, you know? And so, yes, listen, share, listen. Tammy, that's so spot on, so spot on. All right, so that's basically my structure training for you, and there's a whole bunch more in Game Plan. But don't go too deep, don't go too wide, always think 2 ranks ahead. And if you're building for Silverbound, think 2 ranks ahead based on those charts that we already went over. I'm not gonna rehash Silverbound in 2 videos, but the strategy is a little bit different because you're building legs a little earlier, and you have to hit certain benchmarks on time to get those bonuses, but it's worth fighting for. All right, so growing your team. This is a question I get a lot on, if you're following along, I'm on page 118. I'm actually going to read right out of Game Plan to you. This book is just so good. I go back and I reread it, and I'm like, dude, that was a good thing. I want my leaders knowing that. It's good. So page 118, where to sign new oilers. We already talked about the 2 mistakes you can make. So growing your team. How do you get your team to get bigger? So many different people. Let me see if I can find where I was. Page 118. Consistency. Yep. One more thing, critical thing to tell you about following up. I already talked to you guys about this. Let me get into, I think I got my pages wrong a little bit. Now what? Keys to confidence. Tax spot. We talked about that. Sorry, my pages are off a little bit, guys. Comprehensive FDA training we already did. Comp plan we just did. Where to sign new oilers. Here we go. All right, so where to sign new oilers, 2 key strategies for growth, a little bit more about popping. So when somebody goes and signs somebody underneath them, what do you do after they have signed somebody? How do you respond to them, and how do you get them trained? So we'll talk about all of that. But so growing your team. So many different people come up to me and they're like, Sarah, I just can't find anybody that wants to be a leader. And the greatest asset that you have in your business is people that are willing to duplicate what you're doing, right? Because then instead of you teaching 1 class on a Saturday, if you have 5 people that taught a class, you just taught 6 classes on a Saturday because they're copying what you're doing. I can't find anybody who wants to be a leader. Nobody's interested. I tell them I can't find anybody who doesn't want to share the oils. I have the opposite problem. We have tons of leaders on our team. I love that. The people that believe so deeply in them. And I'm just shooting straight with you guys. When I look over my list of friends and I see what they're doing for a living and how they've invested their time and what they'd rather be doing, I don't see a single person who wouldn't be blessed by Young Living. So instead of looking at who isn't out there, I want you to look at who is out there. I think part of the reason is you're speaking that stuff over your business, so you're not attracting it to you. We think that nobody has any interest, but if you actually look at how your friends feel about what they do 40 hours a week, I think that you'd be a lot less timid in approaching your close friends. Even people who absolutely love their jobs. I mean, just like I did. I had no desire after 23 years in radio to quit radio. None. Matter of fact, the woman that signed me, she's like, there's no way Sarah's going to do this as a business. And 3 months later, she had a gold underneath her. And 2 years after that, she had a diamond underneath her. So you never know who you're signing. You need to stop speaking death over your business and thinking that nobody that you sign is going to do the business, because it's not true. All right, it's what you believe. Yeah, it's what you're believing, and you're limiting your business with your own beliefs. We talked about this earlier, which is why believe oil is our oil of the night tonight, right? Here's if I just shoot straight with you guys, okay? Even people who absolutely love their jobs, absolutely love them, just like I did, have moments when they come home, they look in their children's eyes, and they wish that they had a bit more of themselves to give. That's where Young Living comes in. I'm going to repeat that sentence because it's one of my favorite sentences in the whole Game Plan book. Even people who absolutely love their jobs, just like I did, have moments when they come home and they look in their children's eyes and they wish that they had a little bit more of themselves to give. So that's where Young Living comes in. Even people that love their jobs maybe don't want to be there. So the only people who wouldn't be blessed by a Young Living business are those who are already millionaires in another MLM, that already have a network marketing, residual income and everything. The thing that I've noticed from working this is that we never really know who's going to show an interest. I mean, it depends on the place where they are in their life and what desires they have, and all of that constantly changes. I mean, some people I'd never ever imagined doing the business have completely blown me away. Like I was one of those people to my upline. For example, people who are really timid are some of my top leaders on my team, because it really doesn't have a lot to do with personality. It's just taking care of people. And if you're good at taking care of people, then you're good at this, right? It has to do with drive. It has to do with how much you want it. So if they catch the vision and they see where this goes, then you'll have an impassioned leader. You guys got all that? So stop crossing people off the list before they're even on the list. Another thing that I hear people talk to me about, and there's just so many people that need hope out there, guys. There's so many people that need hope. So another thing is upline support. Let's talk about this for just a moment, because oh man, I love to hammer this one in just a little bit. This is my shout out to all the diamonds in Young Living, right? And it's kind of how we feel about this. So while I'm on the topic of uplines, and an upline is the members above you, right? There's another thing that I want to hit on a little bit, because we're talking about strategy. Do not blame your upline if you feel you have no support, because that is an excuse. It's an excuse. We bloom where the Lord has planted us. All of the materials in Game Plan I wrote myself. My upline did not compile it for me, and I would not have expected them to do that for me. Each of them are wonderfully gifted people that are trying to manage their own organizations and grow their own businesses, and it's not their job to manage my business. So if my business is faltering, it's my responsibility. It's not their responsibility to sign people under me, to make sure that I've had enough training. Like, if you guys need training, go seek it out. Lord knows there's enough training in Young Living now. When I wrote Game Plan, there wasn't anything. There was nothing in Young Living. And now there's so much training from so many diamonds. It's so valuable. You can go and grab anything and really, really flourish with it. So my upline does not need to provide me with resources or money or time or gifts or even training. Okay, so they said there's so many different teams out there producing training that if you can't get your hands on something your upline has developed, you'll still blossom by purchasing, another team's material, because we all work for the same company. We're all Young Living cousins. So roll up your sleeves, do your homework, and go study and go grow. Expecting gifts, expecting encouragement from your upline puts a lot of pressure on somebody else. So if you don't feel that you have support, be so busy looking down at what you're building, down into your team, that you don't have time to look up at what you think you don't have. Because you don't need the leaders above you teaching nearby or putting gifts in the mail to you to do this thing. You just need a 3-page script, you need a starter kit, and you need a passion bigger than your excuses. That's what you need to build this. 3-page script, starter kit, and a passion bigger than your excuses. So focus on having a grateful heart, because that's half the battle. And then the Lord is going to do some pretty amazing things when you're depending on Him instead of the team above you. Yeah, you guys are all my cousins. You know that, right? I love you guys, and I want to see you at Diamond. Absolutely. So let's talk just a smidge about strategic placement. As people ask me about this too. Yeah, it is up to you. It's your business. Don't expect anything from anybody above you. If you get something, it's an amazing blessing, and be grateful and send a little thank you note in the mail, and maybe duplicate that and make your people feel really good about it. But it's not required to get to Diamond. I didn't actually meet my Diamond face to face until I was a Diamond. So you don't need that, right? It doesn't mean she's not an amazing woman. I have an amazing upline, but I didn't know most of them until I was already a Diamond. So you don't need that to get to diamond. That means you're using that as a crutch to not build. Somebody else doing things for you should not be the reason that your business succeeds. Your business succeeds because you get out there and do the hard work to make your business succeed, just like every other business out there. I was just in a little shop that did colon hydrotherapy today, and the owner was in there, and she's been doing this for 18 years. She's got her shelves all stocked. She's got her inventory. She's got her employees. She's running people in and out, and her massage therapist and all that. She's running her business. She's working her butt off. And she deserves the bounty that comes in from that business because she did it. Nobody just drove to her store and stocked her shelves for her and paid all of her employees. And do you know what I mean? Like, it's your business. So, yes. All right, last night, let me see this question. Trina. I scheduled a Zoom class, had a few bites, but nobody showed up. However, I was bound and determined to teach my class anyway, so I did. I needed the practice, and I felt great about, it's cutting your words off. I felt great about it afterward. Thank you for the encouragement. You're welcome, friend. No, so the missing link with your no-show class was relationship. People got to know they need the oils to show up for the class. They're busy, guys. They're busy, okay? It's not that they're blowing you off. They have a lot on their plate. So if you want them to give up the most precious thing they have, which is their time, you got to put a really good reason in front of them to get them to show up. So remember that every time you go into a class and it's a no-show. It's not you. It's about the groundwork that you lay to get them into the class, okay? All right, so let's take a look at the key to reaching and maintaining rank, which is chapter 19. We're almost done here. And if you're following along, I'm on page 195. Let's just talk about ranking up and let's just talk about this for a minute. So it's terribly important that you don't let somebody walk out of a class and never touch base with them again. And it's equally important that you don't help them through their starter kit purchase, shoot them a text or an email on why they should be on ER when their kit arrives, and then move on impatiently when they don't respond, just giving up on them, right? The fact is, you can conceivably get to silver on your own. You can find 2 friends, or you can sign your mom, you can sell 40 kits on each leg, and you can get a few outside the legs, and you would make it, and your pin would show up in the mail, and you would enjoy every single moment of the silver retreat gifted to you by Young Living, knowing that you literally earned every single drop of that rank single-handedly, which is not a good thing. And your 2 leaders spend their 100 PV a month, and you're off and running, right? But that tactic is not going to work to get to gold. And it's not even going to work to maintain your rank as silver, because for that groundwork, you need a team. You need a team. And I don't want you or the hardworking leaders on your team to be unable to rank because your distributors are only ordering the one product they know about and spending 50 PV a month. This is where the Game Plan script book comes in handy as an ER tool, and maybe running your team through some of the drills and reading a chapter together as a team, and doing some of the challenges and stuff as a team. You're going to increase your OGV so much. So after a year, because of my lack of follow-up, I was losing 130 people a month. And even now, team-wide, we lose close to 600 or 700 people a month on my team. So if your distributor orders a kit and they never order again, they go inactive and they'll disappear from your team after 12 months. And that's really difficult to maintain rank if that keeps happening. So John and I never lost platinum. We lost diamond one time in the last 3 years, the month that my granddaughter was in the hospital. But it could take, more than a year to get to diamond, and my plateau wasn't necessary. So the entire secret to the whole thing holding me back was essential rewards. ER is the key to your rank up. So if you are training lifestyle and not just the starter kit, if you're training the lifestyle, then you will see growth in Young Living and you will see a rank up. So if you're waiting until silver to get people on essential rewards, you're going to sit at that rank for a really long time. You need to be training them right away at sign up. So I sign people up with a oils kit, and immediately I say, girl, all right, here's my line for getting people on ER. I have a 100% ER rate, getting them on right when they get the starter kit. I say, once you check out, you're not going to get any points for getting your starter kit. You're already buying the kit. I am a frugal mama. I just saved you 50% by doing the kit and the wholesale membership instead of just retail ordering everything, right? $165 instead of $412. That's a sweet deal. I just saved you half of it, okay? But you actually have points, 10 points coming because you ordered this kit. But once you check out, you lose it. You're not going to get the points ever again. You can only get them while you're in this screen right now. So if you click no for essential rewards, when you check out, those points are gone. And that's a free bottle of lime. That's a bottle of cedarwood. That's a whole tube of toothpaste. Going to last your kids for like 3 months, right? Unless they squirt it all over the sink like mine do. So it's just, talking to them, say, this is the way that we save you the most money. all right, is by clicking yes on Essential Rewards. And if you want the bundle to show up to your house next month and you don't want to do it with your kit right now, totally okay. But I would highly recommend that you click yes for ER right now, because it's also Christmas in a box every single month. So getting people on Essential Rewards that sign up is so important. First off, you're not losing an entire month of Fast Start on them. That's one really good thing. But secondly, you're training a lifestyle right away. And that's the key to you hitting your rank. Signing people, you can be really good at signing people, but if you're not good at training the lifestyle, you're not going to have a business, right? Okay, so Diamond Rising deck cards, that's another thing that I use, another tool that I use to be able to grow my business. And we make the book, script book, live tomorrow. I'm going to run a massive sale on my site, and you'll be able to get these cards. So there's 3 cards. One of them tracks all of your prospects. So if you're at a vendor event or you're doing a one-on-one class with some people you don't know, the first card tracks all of that. So what are they interested in learning? Which classes have they been to? Are they already an ER member? What are their biggest health struggles? What are they, how do you contact them after the class? All of that. All the questions you don't have time to ask and you got a bunch of people in front of you don't know on this card. So I just have them fill it out right when they come in. Second card is once they're on your team, and that runs them through an aromatherapy funnel to make sure that they've had the core 4 classes, they're trained, core 5 classes now. And then the third card is for the 8% of your team that turn around and pop and go share oils with somebody else, and that runs them through a business funnel. So you got prospecting funnel, aromatherapy funnel, business funnel. And what I do is I just take the 3 cards and I paper clip them together and I keep them in a 4x6 card deck. And now I'm tracking the follow-up for my entire team. Super easy, super simple. And it has led to massive growth in Essential Rewards on my team. Our team was 42% on ER, and now we're over 55%. And as a diamond team, those are really good numbers with the size of our team. So they work. In the script book, we're going to build Essential Rewards right into that book. So we're training them from the very beginning. So getting them on Essential Rewards is the secret to your rank. All right, chapter 20 is balance, boundaries, and treating your business as a business. Oh, thank you for the shout out, Joni. I appreciate that. So overscheduling. When busy takes the place of your business, you cannot run a store in the downtown of your town and put 0 hours a week into it, right? You can't get a paycheck at your job if you're working 0 hours a week. And it's the same with Young Living. You actually have to invest some time. Now, the nice thing is it doesn't take 40 hours a week to be able to build the business, but it does take some time. So you got to make sure that you are consistently teaching a class a week and you're not just dropping the ball and saying, oh, I didn't have time this week, I'll do it next week, right? So a couple months ago, Jay Carter, who's a member of my Diamond Upline, said something really convicting to me, and it was about overscheduling. You guys may not have figured this out about me, but I am a type A personality, right? And so I'm pretty confident he could spot an overscheduler like a mile away. And he saw that I was a mama who tended to go with the flow. Whatever seemed important, I would take it as long as it took. I would live in the moment and I would just fix everything else later. Well, that doesn't work when you're self-employed. When you're your own boss, you need discipline because the business cannot run itself. And if you don't commit time to it, you're going to find that you don't have a business, or you're going to find that you don't have a family. All right, one of those two things is going to happen. And so I recognize that issue pretty swiftly, but not before it cost me a wonderful personal assistant who was really frustrated with my lack of boundaries. So maybe your boundaries are that you aren't running your business. You're not consistent at all with teaching, or maybe it is the other way around. You're doing it too much and you've completely blocked out your family and you're starting to have mom guilt, right? So let me tell you what Jay's system was, because I absolutely love it. He told me he had a system for keeping himself on track. He made a list of 7 things that he wanted to do every day, and usually 3 or 4 were personal things like working out, and 3 things or so were business related. When he completed the list of 7, he made time for his family and he made time for fun. I get so wrapped up in writing books, lectures. I was working on a script book until 4:30 in the morning last night, right? Reading, studying, training, that sometimes I forget to include the fun. So today we had homeschooling done by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. My husband and I got in the car. We went out this afternoon. I did colon hydrotherapy, which you guys probably are like, that's not fun. Sarah, I don't even know why you think that's fun. We had a chiro appointment together. Then we went on a little date. We had a really nice lunch together, and I had an acai bowl, which I love. And then we went on a 4-mile hike on Swamp Rabbit Trail, which is a 30-mile biking trail that's amazing. And then we went to my favorite grocery store with all raw milk and pastured eggs, and we just had hours to just talk to each other and hang out in the car and all that. So you got to make sure that you're building some of that time in for getting your family, your family time in. But what he did is he woke up and he crossed the 3 things off the list right away. So they were done. I knew I had 3 hours of homeschool I had to get done this morning before I could go out and go have fun. So that was one of the things on my list. So self-care is in there. I'm actually going to put my whole self-care protocol into the Game Plan script book so you guys can see what I do to recharge. I work hard, but I also play really, really hard as well too. So I lucked out because my husband is the master of fun. Like, he's always the one bringing home new movies to watch and planning ahead with root beer float nights for the kids while I'm in a corner typing as fast as I can. So one of my goals since we've hit Diamond is to pull my head out of my books and focus on some of the things in front of me before my kids are totally grown and gone. And so I'm going to show you how much nitro did I drink today. Just one. So here's a picture of my kids. And there's a picture of my kiddos, Gabriel, Isaiah, Gracie, Ben, and Noah. There they are. And our oldest is married now with 3 children. You get to hear his story when we do the Unstuck Intensive. It's really going to make you cry. There's my husband and I. And here's my kids and I in Venice. That was the first trip we did with Gary Young where we got to meet him. So it's crazy. I mean, now I don't want to wrap up the chapter, though, without speaking to the other crowd, too. And you guys know who you are. You're the crowd that doesn't start. So you're the crowd that sees the task of the business, you get overwhelmed, and then you watch other leaders rise from afar knowing that it could have been you if you'd made the commitment to begin. So here's my admonition for you, and I'm just reading this right out of Game Plan because the words that I wrote are just the words you need to hear tonight. And just hear my heart when I'm saying this. This is the one thing you should be committing time to. Right? 2 hours a week, teaching a class, like 2 hours, all right? All the other distractions in your life, look at them for what they are, because they take time away from something that the Lord has placed right in front of you to bless you. He has sent your rescue. This is the thing that will buy you the time with your family and financial freedom and the dreams and the wishes of your heart, whatever those may be, like supporting a missionary or going on a missions trip yourself or sending your kids on missions trip or taking care of a family member who's got nothing or visiting a friend that's far away because you can, anonymously writing a ridiculous check to somebody in need or your first true family vacation. Through hard work and consistency, Young Living is a vehicle that takes you there. It doesn't replace your dreams. It doesn't replace your job or things that you love, but it's a vehicle. I've never, in my wildest dreams, did I imagine we would be standing in the streets of Venice with Gary Young in 2015, 11 months after getting my starter kit. Like, never. As one of the top Young Living leaders in the whole world. I had won that honor as an executive in Young Living, not a diamond, but as an executive. I stood there in those ancient streets with my 3 oldest teenagers, just looking at things we'd only read about in our homeschool books. We stood and looked at a clock tower that was made by Galileo, and we walked streets that Lord Byron walked, and we saw the body of Mark, who wrote the Gospel of Mark in the Bible. We stood in a stadium in Ephesus, Turkey, where Paul gave his sermon before he got arrested and put in prison and wrote half of the New Testament. We made 1,000 memories together. Our first vacation, our first flight, first time I ever flied, first overseas trip, first cruise, all in the same 2 weeks. We ate dinner every single night with Young Living Diamonds, and my kids are frolicking on the ship with, Gary Young's kids. And it's crazy. It's just crazy, right? They're the silliest, most bizarre Cinderella memories, and yet somehow I was actually in them this time, not watching from afar. So if I can give you a practical, hands-on tip on how to apply time management at your best, start in your home. Because the Bible says that if we're faithful with the small things, the Lord will make us ruler over more. Faithful with taking rest. Faithful with pouring into your spouse, faithful with taking time with the Lord. So your life should be in this order. Number 1, your Lord and Savior. Number 2, your spouse. Number 3, your kids. And number 4, your job, which includes Young Living. So if it's out of order, God is not going to trust you with more. It's called time economy, and you don't have favor if your priorities are out of whack. And as Christians, we understand this when it comes to tithing, but it's completely lost on us when we're talking about running our businesses. We just run, and then we cut the things out that are most important. Or we go do a whole bunch of things for our family, and we completely forget about freedom. And we turn around, and it's been 6 months since we taught a class, right? It seems to be lost on us that God does this concept of multiplication with our time too. So just like when we tithe our money, we need to be putting our priorities in biblical order so that God will bless the work of our hands. And if we're faithful with the small things, the relationship with Christ, our spouse, our children, our job, in that order, God will multiply our time just like he does with our money. So I tried it out at home. I'm one of those moms who's got 52 plates spinning in the air, and every second can't get wasted because we're homeschooling. I'm anchoring news part-time, running kids to activities, cooking unprocessed food. So if I want one-on-one child time or a date, I have to budget it in. Just as I started setting aside time to pray over my business, I started setting aside blocks of time as alone time with God, or as a date time with John, like we did today with my husband, or as time with my kids. And so, a couple of examples: we played laser tag at 10 o'clock at night in our yard. And I made out with my husband when he walked in the door from work, or, after I took my 16-year-old son on a driving lesson and we stopped for a slice of pie. These were all little tiny things, but when they were the priority and I wasn't on my phone running my Young Living business 24/7, or doing all the things at the house and not teaching classes for a month, somehow I had time to send the messages that I needed to send, and to connect with the people I needed to connect, and train the leaders that needed to be trained, and it all worked. And I don't really have any explanation for you guys except that God multiplied my clock because my priorities were in order. Okay, my priorities were in order. So try it out. God, spouse, kids, family. All right, last chapter, and I got to wrap this up. I seem to be going an hour every night, guys. I'm sorry. We're doing 6 chapters in a sitting, though, so that's awesome. Last chapter for tonight is chapter 21, Attracting and Motivating Leaders. And what I'll just tell you about this quickly is what attracts them is you. It's not what you do, it's who you are. So when you are practicing good leadership, you're going to naturally attract and inspire other leaders around you who want to rise up. All right. So how do I find leaders? I look for moms who are frustrated at work. I look for people who see no way out. I look for people who need hope. I once signed an entire class of people living in the projects. I went back to the projects and started teaching classes there. Missionaries. I hunt missionaries for my team because missionaries, they go into the field. They have full-time missions work and a full-time job, and it's crazy. So how do you raise a leader? You vision cast with them. You spend time with them so that they see your heart. I'm realizing more and more that the longer our business exists, that one of the best investments that I can make as an upper leader in Young Living is to invest in my leaders. And the best way to do that is FaceTime with them. When I'm with them, then they will engage. So Game Plan is a trilogy. This is the first book, which is a business overview right here. Unstuck is the second book, and we're going to do a boot camp on that one in a couple of weeks, and that's skills training. If you don't have any skills, you don't have any business. If you can't get people into a class, you need that book. All right, the subtitle of that book is How to Talk to Humans and to Get Them to Respond to You. So that boot camp intensive is coming up in 2 weeks. And then there's going to be a third book, and then I'm done writing in this series. So the third book is after I hit Royal Crown Diamond. I'm not doing it yet. And that's for upper leadership, and that's how to raise leaders effectively and how to spark duplication and a love of the lifestyle and a ripple effect across your team. How to get longevity going among those that you've already trained. Loyalty, how to spike OGV. So that book is coming. But for now, before the advanced leader training, we just keep it simple. So how do I raise a leader? First off, there is no raising of leaders. The leader is already inside them. Your job is just to get them to a place where they see it. And that comes with servant-led leadership. Always seeing their needs above your needs. Right? See their needs above your needs. That's the main part of leadership. The action part, so what I do to actually get them on my team is I teach a 101 class and I say, hey, if you want to learn how to get your oils for free, talk to me after class. And every single person in that 101 class gets a mini because this just plants a seed. It's a tool, right? You give a little tease, you funnel to the tool. Give a little tease, funnel to the tool. And so I just say, hey, if you want to learn to get your oils for free, go read this. And I hand them the mini. And then I set up a time to do a teacher training with them. We already did a teacher training earlier this week. So if you don't know where that document is on my website, you're just going to go to oilabilityteam.com. You go to share, and you will see teacher training right underneath the share button. So you click on it, it's one page. It's very, very simple. It takes about 30 minutes to do it. So just download that. It's underneath the Core 4, and we're going to have our 5th Core 5 class getting added there soon on kids, for the kids kit. But Unstuck Teacher Training is right there, and very easy. So I give them the mini. I tell them, hey, let's get you trained, right? Give them the mini, get them into the teacher training. I want them, after they're coming out of a teacher training, to teach a class within 48 hours. There's no, oh, wait, I got to learn all this stuff, and I'm like a network marketer now, and I got to go do all this. I got to save $1,000 and fly to Vegas and go do this, weekend training. No, man, I want you to download the PowerPoint. IWU University. I'm going to teach it to you. We're going to teach it to your mama, and you're going to read a couple slides, and then you're on your own. And I'm going to stand back, and I'm going to watch you teach your classes. So after the teacher training, I get them teaching. Once they hit the rank of star, which usually is in 1 to 2 classes, then I put Ignite in their hands, which is another book that I wrote. It's an itty bitty game plan book that just kind of runs them through the overview of what Young Living is. And then we continue teaching classes. Once they hit the rank of senior star, I put Game Plan in their hands. Now they're ready for this book and the workbook, and I point them to the boot camp. And now you guys have a 5-day intensive that you can do with them. Once they hit executive, then I give them Unstuck and the Unstuck workbook. So that's how I train my leaders. And then I check in every few months, and we do some personalized coaching and work on some of their their weak points. So Star, Ignite, Senior Star, Game Plan, Executive, Unstuck. And then get them to events. Stay plugged in. When you clock out, your leaders will clock out. So they need your fire until their fire is burning so brightly that they can't look away. Right? They need your fire. All right, last little tidbit is how to pray over your business. Chapter 22. And I'm kind of excited over this chapter because I actually wrote a whole class on it in the Game Plan script book. So a whole class. I am convinced that the single most important thing that you can do for your business is to pray over it. Even more than teaching classes. And you guys thought you'd never hear that come out of my lips, right? So speak life, yes. Have action. Don't just wait for your business to fall from the sky on you. So yes, you need to be teaching. Don't wait for it to rain on you. But war on everything before your knees and pray protection and fire and focus and explosion and multiplication with the greatest fervor that you have. Pray favor. Pray favor over your team. And then what I do is I keep a little prayer journal, and I divide it into 3 parts: thanks, leaders, and goals. And I write down all the things I'm grateful for. And then I write down leaders, and then I write down goals for a business. And if you think about it, it's kind of the way Jesus prayed too when he did the Lord's Prayer, right? First thing he did was he thanked God. So always be grateful for the things the Lord is drawing to your business. Second thing is he asked for his daily bread, right? What do you need more than anything else to grow your business? You need leaders. You need duplication. So I pray over my leaders, and I make a list of them, and I put down all the things that I have connected with them on and what they need prayer cover for. And then goals, where does it need to go? And then pray very specifically over your business. Pray for it to grow. And I'm going to give you a specific example of this because my leader, the woman that signed me in Young Living, actually took this and started doing this over her own business. And so I wrote her little testimony in Game Plan on page 222. She said, I know prayer is why I've been so successful. I'm not as deliberate as what Sarah describes above, but I do pray over people and our businesses. I'm blessed to have some of my best friends in the world on my team, and I love them and their families. So praying for favor and abundance over them comes naturally. Can you imagine what our team will look like in a year if all the leaders took the time to pray like this? It's exciting to think about. Goal setting with specifics is a proven strategy for success. It's amazing how often it turns out exactly as you planned. My team member, Mindy, had a goal of adding 22 team members in February, and on the last day of the month, 22 logged in and bought a starter kit. It truly works when backed with prayer and intention. Wow. There are only 3 commandments in the Bible: prayer, giving, and fasting. Can you imagine what would happen if we prayed over our teams and our businesses and fasted regularly for wisdom, action, and breakthrough? God wants to bless us in so many ways, not just financially. My Young Living journey has been a blessing to me and my family in so many ways: financially, friends, oils, health, helping others. We need to remember that the enemy does not want any of this to happen. So we need to bathe our journey in prayer every single day. Isn't that awesome? So write down specifically what you need over your business and break it into 3 columns, and then just start praying over it. So your homework today is to read chapter 17 to 22 and do the worksheets in the Game Plan workbook as well. Make sure you're getting those worksheets done, because this is where all the gut work happens, is right here. You can read any book, but if you're putting into practice, you need the workbook, right? And then tomorrow we're going to cover chapters 23 to 26, and we're done. But tomorrow we also launch the script book, the pre-sales. So tomorrow's going to be a really fun day, super fun day. But Game Plan Bootcamp will end tomorrow night. And then in a couple of weeks, we're going to do a week on Unstuck. And then we start doing all the launches for the script book. It's going to be a really, really fun winter. I'm going to keep you guys busy with a lot of reading this winter. So 3 business questions, and then we're done for tonight. Kay Daly says, I truly love and believe in the oils, and I want to take a go of it. I started out great, but then my upline pretty much lost all contact with me. I live in a rural area, so I just lost my vision, but I'd really like to make a go of the oils business. okay, you know what I'm going to say here, right? Because I just hounded you guys about your thoughts on your upline being responsible for growing your business, right? You live in a rural area, girl, that is an excuse. You know people, all right? The average person has 350 people in their cell phone. Start signing some of those people. Doesn't matter where you live. Doesn't matter where you live. Find one person, and then tap into their friend circles. So sign one person in your town and start tapping into their friend circles to build your organization. And we did a whole Friends of Friends training earlier this week, and we're going to really flesh it out with Unstuck in a couple weeks. Rosa Fernandez says, I'm interested in bringing EO to a community that doesn't really believe in them. Most days I want to give up, but I know the benefits. I'm struggling with finding ways to get past their complaints of the price of the kit. Well, here's the deal, all right? You guys know that when you go buy food, if you buy irradiated 80/20 mechanically separated rib meat, it is not the same as grass-fed, pastured, organic beef, right? You're going to pay a different price. Even if you're standing in a store that has both of them, it costs more to get the thing that's the real meat, right? That isn't pumped full of antibiotics and hormones and giving your boys boobies when they're 8 years old and all that good stuff. So we understand that in the food world, but it's lost on us in aromatherapy. So I just say, listen, what's the point of using an essential oil to get away from chemicals and then using an essential oil that's laden with chemicals? That's the opposite of what you're trying to do. So girl, this is the stuff I use. Here's my story. Get it on your body. That's what I do. Share your testimony, find their need, loan your stuff out to get them excited, get them to their why, right? Ashley says, I'm struggling to make new prospects. I'm struggling with my confidence as well, but confidence is coming with self-care, and I know prospects are out there. I just have to get myself out there and speak from the heart on what I love. Ashley, you answered your own question. You do. You need to start connecting with people, showing them what you do, and loving on them. You got to love them more than your fear. You're afraid right now. Don't be afraid, because each family that's on your team is a family that you have served. And Jamie says, I'm struggling with fitting the business in and seeing the fruit of my work. I'm the only builder on my team of 160 because all the other builders stopped trying. I would love to show each of us that building is worth it and can happen with full-time jobs. They just need to teach a class a week. So what I do with my leaders is do the boot camp, because it'll fire them up. Say, hey, we got 5 nights, hour night, do the boot camp with me. When they're all fired up, say, now let's teach a class a week Saturday mornings. We'll hop on together. Let's do it. And I just get them moving. Sometimes they just forget how to move, right? So get in the trenches with them and remind them that they are capable of amazing things if they just believe, right? Just got to believe. So tomorrow night, we're going to do the last 4 chapters of the book, and then we're all done. Stay tuned to my page for the launch of the pre-sales for the script book. I'm so excited about that. I love you guys so much, so much. And I know that you guys can see this. I know that you can see where it goes. The question is, do you start putting one foot in front of the other? Right? What is the next thing you're going to do when this boot camp ends tomorrow night? If you guys start writing me and start saying teaching classes, I'm going to start crying, because I know that that's what's going to get you to the next rank. If you write me and say, oh, I bought 4 more books to read this winter, I'm going to be like, oh, just go teach a class. Go teach a class, right? Go teach a class. Pray over your business. Pray for your leaders. Get out there and share your story, and hide it under a bushel, no, right? And deep and wide, right? You know how to structure, like you've learned so many things tonight. So douse yourself in some Believe oil, get it going in your diffuser, get it on the back of your neck tonight. Pray over your business as you go to sleep. Tomorrow's a brand new day. It's going to be an amazing one, and it's time for you to get to the next rank, all right? I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Last night.